Welcome back to Cannabis in Canada with Jason Wilcox. Off to obviously a bumpy start this morning. I gotta correct my camera here. Just bear with me for a couple seconds. It's been a really, what can I say? I don't have any really excuses. It's just been a really rough week. I'm gonna have to fix this camera. One sec, guys. I'm too old for this, I think. I'm definitely getting too old for this shit. Alright. Where's my motherfucking guy? Welcome back to Cannabis Canada with Jason Wilcox. It is again March the 8th, 2019, and that didn't do much to focus me in any better. Oh man, hang on a sec. This is one of those most distracting shows ever. You want YouTube bloopers? Here it is. Can't get much better. Turn this light down a little bit. So I don't look hopefully too dark. Oh, what a mess. Yeah, sorry to my friends on YouTube and to my friends on Facebook. Just when I thought I had stability testing down and figured out, it appears that I don't. So it is what it is. All I can do is seek to try to make it better. And trust me, that's a challenge. I'm starting to wonder if after 11 years on the air, if maybe it's time I pack it in, because it's honestly, this is way more than a one-man show, and one man's doing it, and that's kind of just really, it's challenging. It'd be easy for me to pop up a webcam or pop up my cell phone and say, hey, I'm on Facebook Live, and it wouldn't look much different than the way we look right now. That's the funny part about it. You spend years building up your studio, and then all of a sudden, bam, they come out with apps and phones and all kinds of stuff that can just frankly destroy what we're doing. I'm going to check my audio just before I put this headset away. If I can even find my freaking show again. It would be nice, but I can't. Am I streaming to Facebook? I mean, that becomes the next question. I know this happened yesterday. I couldn't find it. There it is. All right. Well, you know what? Bruce, I'm sure you know, I have working with Rob all those years. You know, technical difficulties are technical difficulties. That's why a lot of us give up on these studios, or give up on these online shows. It's not because we don't want to get the information out. It's just that it takes a hell of a lot of work. A lot of expensive equipment. People often don't see some of the different stuff that we're using. And again, I talk about this only because I'm at a point. I was offered to buy my company, and this is the age of legalization. This is a time where we should all be saying, yeah, fuck yeah, that's awesome. And me, I'm like, I don't know now. Because I fought so long for legalization, though I didn't fight for this legalization, I fought for legalization and to be part of legalization. And God knows I love the cannabis plant. So, I don't know what to do. I mean, the offer's on the table, and I'm stuck. That being said, there's a lot of other good things going on. Herbal Passion website is set to launch, and you'll be able to start shopping right away from the Herbal Passion website, whether you want pure crystalline, whether you want CBD extracts, whether you're looking for full spectrum extracts, which is where they make a full spectrum oil and then infuse it with an additional 1,000 milligrams of CBD. So you're actually getting what we call the entourage effect. I like that better, but I'm an old school toker and smoker, and I like my THC. I've often talked about this on the show, that THC itself, for people with HIV, it stimulates my appetite, helps me sleep. What does CBD do for me? It only helps with the inflammation and calms my mood a little bit, but it doesn't really stop. I don't deal with spasmodicity or seizures or anything where CBD would be applicable. So this is why I talk about this full spectrum. 113 or 23 phytocannabinoids exist, and we only know about what THC and CBD can do, and maybe a few others. I mean, I know there's a lot of anecdotal research out there that suggests otherwise, but I'm saying what is accepted science, accepted medical proof that there's no such thing as non-medical cannabis. So I'm going to keep talking about this every show, next 100 shows, because this is episode 800 and something on YouTube. No, seriously. We will be we'll be doing that. Good morning, Rich. Good morning, Carl. I'm looking at the I'm trying to follow both chats here. Because of this screw up, Damon, you're in. Justin, you're in there as well. Can you guys do me a huge favor? Can you please reshare this? And I know this is the problem. Here's the trick. Go to YouTube and grab the YouTube link and share that. Because what Facebook has done is they've purged us. They've blocked us, and they've stopped me from being able to live stream to my own personal public figure page. I can't live stream to that right now. That's being stopped for reasons that I don't know. We're being rerouted now. My administrators and all of my best supporters, my closest friends, they can't share my show into my own group. In a group, they're administrators. So Facebook is purging us from sharing this message. They do not want another Allard. They do not want another movement of thousands of people rising up saying no. They never recognized just how powerful cannabis was. I've always said cannabis is a commodity. It's worth its weight in gold. Nothing's changed. Except the government's mucked it all up. You know, just when I'm like, Ricky, man, we just got all this shit figured out. Don't legalize. I just got this shit worked out. I get it now. I thought it was kind of funny watching the movie, but god damn. And this is the thing, I would love to say boycott the LPs, and I'm looking at the comments here in YouTube and Facebook. I would like to say boycott the LPs, but it's not the LPs. I mean, when we have to look at this from a full perspective. The legislative arm that writes all the policies and bullshit, political arm. Then there's the legal arm, the judicial arm. So the judicial arm has 16 times said, what you're doing is wrong. Treat those medical patients right. And what these guys keep doing is saying, okay, how do we make more money? How do we monopolize this? Knowing that the World Health Organization was going to reclassify cannabis to be medical. Knowing full well that we were going to legalize globally. They still wanted to kill home growing in Canada, not because it was dangerous, not because we need to save the kids. No, because they wanted more profit. Just like you're a non-medical user, which is bullshit. You have CB1 and CB2 receptor cells in your body. You have an endogenous system, and cannabinoids work through your body in a medicinal fashion. Therefore, it's medicinal in its broadest context and its most basic context. So those of you out there paying $15 a gram going, woohoo, scored some weed for the weekend. And the reason I'm saying this is because I want us to open our eyes. I'm not mocking anybody. I want us to open our eyes. There's over 100 corporations in Canada. Look on my wall, you'll see a post. I talked about this, guys. Tilray, $600 for 25 milligrams of CBD. Remember, I told you they can't go over 30 milligrams. So 25 milligrams of CBD. 25 milligrams of THC because they can go over that 10 milligram mark, I believe, because they're shipping to Australia. Now, to my Aussie friends, my God, I feel sorry for you. My heart goes out to you. And from one cannabis warrior to another, and from the Canadian underground to yours, we love you guys. Keep fighting. Keep your head up. Jenny Hallam, I think it's horrible what they're doing to you, and I think this needs to stop. You're on the other side of the world, but this is not about where we are, who we are. We're all human beings. We all have an endogenous system. We all have CB1, CB2 receptor cells, and God damn it, this plant is medical for everybody. And should not be governed like a gun by the powers that be. Who can justify governing cannabis like a gun just so that they can profit off their own people. North Korea, fuck, no problem, I get it. This is motherfucking Canada. Land of the free, home of the brave. Well, where's my freedom come in? Because I'm certainly brave. But where the fuck's my freedom start and where the fuck's my freedom end? Because you know what? I just went through a $1.2 million trial that's fully paid for, that secured home growing in this country, and they're slowly whittling it out. They're slowly whittling it out. They're never going to get rid of it fully because constitutionally, nothing can override the Constitution. It's the highest decision in this country. Let's just put it that way for anybody watching on YouTube and around the world. In our country, we have what's called the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Ironically, our present premier, his father, took part in writing the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which sets forth your liberty in Section 7 and sets forth reasonable limits on that liberty in Section 1 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And the part that I love the best of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is Section 15, because we're all equal before and under that motherfucking charter. So I'm sorry that you're getting taxed, but at least you don't live in Australia where you're paying $600 for this. I talked about it on yesterday's show. I know I sound repetitive and I'm going to get off this, but think about it. It could be your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your daughter, your son, your brother, your sister. $600 to stop a seizure. Plant-based medicine. 1,000 milligrams, $35 wholesale in Canada. Yes, Australia, I'm talking real. Uruguay, Germany, Ireland, and soon to be America. You guys may think that you don't have licensed producers over there yet. You're crazy. You really think your states are going to maintain control? No, they're not going to maintain control. The federal government's going to come in and they're going to take over who supplies cannabis in your country. And when you become like Australia and Canada has become, hostage to our government, hostage to the policies and regulations that govern the use and production of cannabis, distribution internationally and domestically is all washed up with millionaires. Suits, I call them. Now, am I a hater? Am I mad at them? No. But do I believe that you should monopolize and criminalize a free peoples over a plant that's never hurt anyone? Hell no. Legalize all drugs. Standardize all drugs. Stick them in the market. I don't make money off drugs. I want to save lives. I want to share wealth. And education, those that have learned in life, your health is your most wealth. Then comes education. The rest of your wealth just becomes what you earn. Money comes, money goes, money burns, money flows. It don't matter. I think our integral value as a people's needs to start doing this, because Rex people, in Michigan, of course you're going to face this. You're going to face what Colorado faced when Colorado first legalized. In fact, sorry, Washington State first legalized, and nobody could grow except the medical patients. Sound familiar? Bet it does. Because when I went to Australia, it was familiar. When I went to California, it was familiar. It's wrong. If you got money, you can get involved in the industry. But if you spent 25 years in the industry and you're extremely knowledgeable, you can be a consultant, or you might be able to find your way. I guess that's just life. That's just the way it is. My biggest issue is access. If all y'all, I don't give a fuck who you are, licensed producers, compassion clubs, whoever you are, provide access, because the one thing that's not happening in this country right now, just so the world knows that's watching, and the news should be covering this, there's no supply. How do you legalize and then not even have stores or enough cannabis to supply your country? Don't blame it on Allard. Don't blame it on the people that stood up and said to you, no, we're going to have extracts and we're going to be able to keep growing. Our rights and our freedoms is the most fundamental thing we need to remember, because my grandfather, my family, again, we all have family members that have fought in wars. Our freedoms were not just given to us. Someone didn't just come up and say, here's a bunch of money and you're free and you can just live it up. Fuck no. We had to fight for that shit, bleed the battlefields dry, and fucking win our right to freedom. In that freedom comes liberty, reasonable access on that liberty, and sure as fuck does not uncover being monopolized, criminalized in the process of legalizing. I know, I sound like I'm crazy, but I'm not. This is Canada, home of the Canucks. I'd also note that, as you all know, a business footprint, as we call them, a business footprint is something that would be laid out. Like, for instance, if you're going to legalize around the world, like I predicted this in 2012, you guys are going to see Tilray and Tweed shipping to other countries. And it's been going on. It is what it is. Why are they making so much money on the stock market, but yet have no sales in Canada? It's called international drug dealing. When you can get $600, again, for a little bottle of CBD, 25 milligrams, and 25 milligrams of CBD, I can make the same shit in my kitchen for $10. I cannot see a 400% justification, even with shipping it halfway around the world. There is no justification except provocation. And now you're provocating the Australians. Now the Australian judicial system is screwed up. It's really messed up, because I can't believe they lock people up the way they do. They don't even give them a chance to fight back. People forget, I never got charged. I charged Canada. Just like you can in your respective country. Not easy. Costs a lot of money. Got to have the right lawyers that are willing to work with you. And God bless John Conroy for coming into my life, because without him being in my life and without the lawyers willing to fight, we wouldn't be sitting here talking today about any of this. We'd be sitting here talking today about how there's an underground. We might be talking about that. But we'd be talking about who has the best, latest shatter from fucking corporations. Who has the best, latest whatever. Because I guarantee you, how have they gotten rid of the gardens? There'd be shatter, there'd be gummy bears, there'd be friggin' oils, there'd be everything. Forget Save the Kids. Save the Kids was a way, it means let's get rid of the problems. Let's get rid of the people that are cutting into our profit margin. Let's get rid of them. These big gardens, these medical gardens, these people, these street dealers, anybody that's infringing on our shit, let's get rid of them. Fine. I guess it's part of legalization. But to increase criminal penalties? Really? That's what they did. They increased criminal penalties here as well in Canada. So this is what has really riled me up, got me going, and has made me now. We're at the 18-minute mark. I'm going to take a break here in a sec, but it's got us. It's got me to the point where I pulled this video up. Now this is me facing off with the police. My first real. I mean, I've been doing activism for, again, 11 years here on YouTube. You can track me back. You can track me on social media for 11 years, and you'll find that I've only retracted a couple times. I'm usually pretty accurate with what I say, and I follow through with my convictions. You know, I stay committed to everything that I do until I see it through, like in Allard. And right now there's a new constitutional challenge coming up that's going to be for compassion clubs, for compassionate dispensing to patients, where they can actually get education and information about the topical application or the oil application or the smokable application, whatever it is that they choose to use cannabis. Cannabis in all of its forms, in accordance with the Supreme Court of Canada, should mean that you can go in and get education and access to cannabis in all of its forms, not cannabis in LP forms. Other thing I want to know, bank accounts. If your bank accounts are being shut down, and you've recently applied for a microbrewery, that's why. If you've recently been involved in the dispensary wars, if you're still running a dispensary and you're noticing that your accounts are starting to get shut down, the federal government's just coming from another angle. Now they're freezing assets. As soon as it's going to be proceeds of crime, you're going to lose your house and your fucking car. No fucking joke. Keeping it real in the 604. All I can say, and I beg anybody out there, please come. Let's do this. You want to fight the government? You want to take on Big Brother? I can tell you now from my experience, from my success, from making it possible to grow in this country, it is not fucking easy to be that leader. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to go through all the bullshit. You motherfucking patients, there's some out there that just never do a goddamn thing. But you crushed the coalition. Nobody else crushed them. We were just volunteers. So if we just said screw it, now I'm looking at this situation, I'm thinking, God damn, it's too bad that we don't have that. And I got my vice president wants me to reopen the coalition because the coalition leadership seems to be being targeted. No licenses are being issued for medical patients, especially those that served in the leadership of the coalition. Our wives, ourselves, our licenses are being sent back. Mine's 8 months. Do our lawyers know about it? Absolutely. It's another deterrent. They use deterrent tactics so that you will not apply for that fucking license. You'll just accept the 4 plants that you can grow at home. But you're not going to bother with the federal government because they're asking too many questions and they like to scare people. Fear-mongering 101. Government's the best at fear-mongering. No shit. It's a fucking real talking here. And what I am at the end of a long week is pissed off, tired, and to see Facebook openly admitting that they're fucking with us. And what I mean by that, I'm going to pull the file up here, and thank you to Maurice and Linda Fazio for sending this over to me. But it basically lends to what I was talking about. It seems Facebook's purging not only groups, but anything cannabis. If Canada legalized, and I've been legal since 2003, you know, we're talking well over a decade. I've been legally allowed to have cannabis. Why can't I put it on my channel? And why am I being rerouted without being told? And is this the governing laws of social media? I guess it is. But let me pull this up here. Let me get a desktop presenter working here, and we'll be able to see what I can't remember his name. Seppenberg, whatever it is. But these guys again doing this and thinking that the Canadian public in general are going to just be okay with what's going on, and I think the world over. Shit, what was I just doing here? I think honestly the world over is going to come to realize that what I'm talking about here, I have a tattoo on my arm that says 2012 to 2016. So I've been at this since 2012. We're in 2019. I've been studying, recruiting, fighting, winning, and fighting and winning. And we're not going to start losing now. You fight the fights you can win. And though the other stuff's just bullshit, if you can't fight it, you can't fight it. Government gets to dictate who sells cannabis, and that's the sad part. But we, the people, as a free and democratic people, people power, can do a lot. Shit, what was I doing? I forgot what I was doing. And that's really one of those desktop presenter. Come on, man. Alright, bear with me as we keep this going. I'm going to keep reading the comments. Love your... thanks, Bruce. Honestly, my fighting spirit isn't going to change. I mean, I've often said this. I will go from my deathbed, and I'll still be sitting there typing away about how there's going to be some sort of regulation or social justice issue that needs to be addressed. And I don't see me changing. I don't see any of that changing. Why would I change? We're living in a dawn where ISIS almost started a world war. North Korea could start a new world war. You know, we're living in dangerous times. And living in dangerous times means, my own opinion, cannabis should be put to the back burner. And for the countries that have legalized, such as ours, I guess it's about the money. And I talk about this on the show. I know I'm jumping around, but I talk about this on the show because it's got to be about the freaking money. Like, to me, I'm thinking to myself, why is this happening? I don't fully understand. What is this here? 192. Sorry, guys. I just freaking can hardly see here. It is first thing in the morning, and I'm waking up. So just bear with me here, and I'll get on top of this. 168. You know, it would help if I could actually see. That's how you know you're getting old. Got it. Okay. Now we can do this. So, I have the article up here. All right. Here it is. Let's take a look. Oh, pull in. I guess I should have went to commercial break. Probably would have been smarter. But here it is. Okay, so here you see 4 months after legalization, Facebook still censoring pot-related ads. Now this is the globalnews.ca. If you look here on the top, here you see 4 months after legalization, Facebook still censoring pot-related global news. Now this is one of our best news sources in the country. Look here on the top, so reliable in other words. And this is important. So why would Facebook still be doing this after 4 months? A medical cannabis advocacy organization, Facebook, ads account, and was disabled in error and will be reinstated. The platform tells the organization. That's because it was a massive purge account and was disabled in error and will be reinstated. Language tells the organizations and was disabled. Not one organization. They didn't just target one organization. They target organizations. It's not one organization. They didn't just target one organization. They target organizations. It's not one organization. They didn't just target one organization. They target organizations.
As Canadians brace themselves for the legalization of recreational pot, there have been many debates over whether or not cannabis is good for you. On one side of the spectrum, you get the pro-pot group.
This is a freedom that has no victim, no crime.
Then you get other people arguing any pot smoking will kill you and everyone around you.
Marijuana, the burning weed with its root in hell.
The dichotomy of these two views can be traced to two chemical compounds found in marijuana, CBD, and THC. Cannabis contains cannabidiol, or CBD, a chemical thought to be responsible for many of marijuana's therapeutic effects. It is the compound in medicinal marijuana used for treating chronic pain, inflammation, nausea, and anxiety, among other things. It is important to make the distinction between this compound and THC, which is what gets you high and is sometimes connected to the harmful aspects of weed.
So CBD is cannabidiol. It's like the yin to the yang of THC. It's quite a promising medicinal ingredient, but it does not have any recreational value.
The thing is, since the substance has been illegal for so long, the health industry hasn't really invested in long-term health studies, so we truly don't understand its long-term impact. But a massive report by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine gives one of the most comprehensive looks at exactly what we know about the science of cannabis as a whole. Marijuana use affects the lungs, but doesn't seem to increase the risk of lung cancer. But there may be a link between smoking pot, bronchitis, and chronic coughs.
Typically, cannabis in the past has been consumed through combustion methods such as smoking. The reality is when you heat a product up past 400 degrees Fahrenheit, you get toxic byproducts such as benzene, and benzene can go into the body and cause carcinogenic effects.
As well, marijuana may help relieve some types of pain.
And THC actually has anti-inflammatory effects, so if there is inflammation in the body, this plant can actually reduce some of the inflammation in the body.
Some evidence suggests that pot smoking may play a role in triggering a heart attack. Within a few minutes of inhaling marijuana, your heart rate can increase between 20 and 50 beats a minute, according to the U.S. National Institute on Drug Abuse. On the mental health front, evidence reviewed suggests that pot use may increase the risk of developing schizophrenia and other psychosis.
When you consume too much and you start to lose insight or awareness as to what's going on, that it can lead to many medical complications or issues. The biggest one is psychosis. The overall risk is still quite low. Some of the research out there shows 1 in about 20,000 people can have a psychotic episode from the use of cannabis.
Cannabis use was also linked to a small increased risk of depression.
Fuck! You guys didn't hear I was just talking to myself for about half an hour, really? Alright, I apologize. I didn't know there was no sound. Anyway, I was scrolling down there. I was reading through that for you guys, and I didn't realize my microphone was freaking muted. I got it up above my head today. It's one of these new studio mics that I'm just playing around with where I want to actually put it. You know, they can either sit over here if I got a guest, or the directional mics. But I don't want it exactly blocking my head either, so... I apologize for that, but okay, there you go. 4 months after legalization, we still got this push with Facebook saying we're going to stop these ads. Now, this wasn't just one company. That's why I point out language. My lawyers taught me this. Language means everything. And in that language, what did I read? I hope I read what you guys read. Organizations. Start by calling us cannabis organizations, and then in the second paragraph, call us marijuana users. You see, that's reefer madness tied in there. Whoever wrote that, that's messed up. Whoever's working at Facebook, I highly suggest that you stop doing this. We're legalizing around the world. The World Health Organization just reclassified cannabis and continuing to block these ads. I hope that laws come out where people can actually protect their property. And if my account gets shut down for this, so be it. You know, I'm ready to hang up the socks anyway. But I do not support purging, the purging of information. Social media was meant so we could be social, right? And we could talk. And we could do stuff. That's what social media I thought was meant for. Now I know there's community guidelines. You can't sit there and tell each other to F off or F you or whatever. I get all that. That's reasonable. But I'm not going to say it's reasonable to... I'm certainly not going to say it's reasonable to be able to keep doing... blocking Facebook ads, purging Facebook groups. And when I say purging, I mean I was bitching about Cannabis in Canada. We lost 3,000 members. But other people lost their entire group. likely because they only had 1,000 members or less than 1,000, and they were just purged because they were talking about cannabis. No, I thought maybe it might be just a purge of people selling cannabis, because that would make sense. It breaches the community standards, and maybe an algorithm can catch them. I don't know. But I told you, I caught this on Wednesday. I catch on to this shit pretty quick. It's like lickety-split. Quick, quick, quick. Why did they block me in 7 countries when I was talking about how we took down the federal government of Canada? Why did they do this? I had to ask myself this, because I had to know, why'd you block me when every show this week has been along these topic lines? But one show got me blocked in 7 countries. Facebook hasn't told me why. They've decided they're saying sorry, but they haven't sent me a personal message talking about what happened to my group. I guess if I sent them one, maybe that would help, but there's only so much of me to go around. But I would like to know. Jacinta, you're right. It is a freedom of speech issue, but here's the problem. Facebook goes around the world, and our freedoms here in Canada are different than freedoms in other countries, and that's why they blocked me in other countries. The reality is, I believe big business blocked me in other countries because they don't want me telling and talking about exactly why I'm doing this documentary, exactly why I'm doing the book on the coalition, so that people know what took place here in Canada. 15,000 patients rose up, restrained the federal government of Canada from taking their plants 10 days before the execution date. Then we put them on trial, kicked their ass in a $1.2 million case, and fucking got our money back from the judge for legal costs. That's a motherfucking story. And a historical fact. What our country does next keeps the story going. When they breached our privacy, we sued them. You're all going to get a paycheck soon. If you were a member of the MMAR back then, when you got that letter mail out, you're going to get money. They fart sideways, we jump on them. But you know why we could do that? Because we were 15,000 members strong and we were organized. We had representatives in every province. We had an organizational structure with over 200 volunteers, 15,000 members, and fucking $300,000 in our bank account. Money we raised. Doing concerts, not selling drugs. Doing concerts, hanging out with one another, donating a little bit from our disability checks. So one thing that always bothered me and John is that when we looked at the bills, the donation bills for the main trust account, as we're going over them, I'm seeing all these small donations every month. $50, $50, $50. I'd say 50% of that $300,000 we raised was donations of small proportions less than $500. So those who think that big business or big guys stepped up, nobody thought we could win. Nobody thought we would get an injunction. And even after we got the injunction, even after we restrained the federal government of Canada and stopped them from removing our gardens, they still didn't think we could win. Then the government appealed us. 3 more judges, federal court judges, 3 more under the appeals court, agree with us. Now that's 4 judges. And still, no big money, no big fish. All these big cats in here now trying to tell us how legalization is going to look or should look, or how they blaze the trail of legalization as they give each other awards. Nah, fuck y'all. Give each other some new suits. You know, fuck, don't give each other awards for shit you didn't do. You know, if it's an award for setting up a business, fine. But don't take an award for being a trailblazer in the cannabis culture, because those awards belong to the people that actually blazed the trail and got us to where we are. Whew! I'm just jumping this morning. But it is Friday, and it's just the way it goes. We're at the 39-minute mark, and I have not had a dab or had a break. So I did talk about the police. Now, I'm going to take this back here. We'll take this back. I cover the officers' faces. People ask me this over the years. This is back in shit. This is 2009. This is long before there was a coalition. This is when green teams were still fucking with medical patients and activists were still fighting cities. We weren't fighting governments. It just escalated. But, you know, it started with the police. Either way, when green teams come, they bring the city, usually 2, maybe 4 guys. Then they bring the fire department. Then they bring a couple police cars to make sure those people are safe. What amounts to a warrantless search? Here in BC, a court has decided that police cannot attend with the city unless there is a disturbance. But if the city is coming just to simply inspect your garden, and they put a notice on your door in accordance with the bylaws of your city, the police are not allowed to come. At least if you're in British Columbia, they're not allowed to come anywhere, but really in British Columbia, they're not allowed to. And it's known as a threshold of the doorway. 95% of the time, the police are going to say to you, do you mind if I step in to get out of the rain? Or, do you know, it's a little chilly out here. Or do you mind if I just step in for a minute and have a seat? You know, they try to act nice. And then they throw you down on the ground like ice and put cuffs on you. Or zap straps while they secure your house. And then they run around and they look in every closet. They flip over your beds. They look for anywhere a human body could potentially fit. When really they're just looking for anything they could charge you for. Like I said, it amounts to a warrantless search if you let them in your house. If you're going to let them in your house, tell them you're going to film them the whole motherfucking time. Because if they know there's a camera on them, that's different. And nowadays, cameras could be streaming live to the internet, could be being backed up to a server. So these officers know that even if they grab the camera out of our hand, that don't stop the footage from ending up on the internet. So they can wear their body cams. I agree with that. Wear your body cams. I've dealt with Mr. Metro since I was a kid. I've been down to 311 Jarvis. I've been rolled down the stairs. I've been down to Cherry Beach for all you Toronto boys watching and ladies watching. You know, I've been down that track. You want to fight Popo? Fight Popo. I learned how to fight them legally. Trying to fight them any other way is just retarded. And you'll notice also who comes up to my door is the Guns and Gangs Task Force. The 4 head officers. That's why I cover their faces. This was a small town. This was during, for those Canadians that remember the Bacon brothers shootings and the war between the UN gang and the Scorpions here in Surrey and out into the valley. I believe over just short of 30 people got murdered during that war. And during that time was when I was sitting on top of my 15 light show in my basement. So you can imagine every time my alarm system went beep, 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 I was jumping up in my kitchen friggin' whoa, getting ready to go because I didn't know if there was 5 people coming in my house to rip me off. Because the police were so tied up with this gang stuff that they weren't able to protect patients. Either way, when they come to your house, don't let them in your door if they got police with them. You don't need to. Again, you'll hear me say this amounts to a warrantless search. Don't be aggressive because an officer can say they felt you were threatened. Whatever you do, do not reach your hand the direction of the officer. Even you'll see in the door, you'll hear the door creak in this video. It'll go creak, creak, creak. When you hear that, that's the police officer actually trying to pull the door open. And there's me sitting like this, holding the door shut. And you can hear it. It's a little tug of war, but you guys can't see it. Nobody talks about it because nobody wants it on camera. And this was their reaction to me suing them. Because I sued them with John Conroy for cutting my plants down, they came back 3 months later with a green team to shut me down. Then Kurt Tucson and I put a human rights case on them and stopped them from shutting me down too. Again, legally fighting back, politically fighting back, using the best advocacy you can use, and fighting for truth. Check this video out. See you in a bit. One, two, three, 4. Come on, I'm here with that for a second. I don't think that's necessary. And you got the top one up top? Yeah. And the second one here and here.
Yeah, I'm going to film it. There's 4 of them. Yeah.
Just let me talk to
Yeah,
him here.
there's 5 of them.
I gotta find out who their supervisor is. You You guys got a supervisor that wants to do the talking?
Wilcox. Mr. Wilcox. These gentlemen coming up here are the inspection team,
Yes.
and they would like to do the inspection, but before they do that, they ask us to come in and make sure everything is safe for them. There's nobody hiding in closets or anything like that.
Exactly, and I believe that this case has been settled in Ontario, that the police can no longer come in for home inspections.
No.
Oh, we can to come in and assist them if you allow us to.
I'm not allowed. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to allowing permission,
Come and talk to these gentlemen.
I mean, I don't have a problem standing here with you, or if you guys want to stand even right here. I mean, at the doorway. I mean, I've contacted legal counsel. That's
Yes,
why.
we have.
It's nothing against you guys personally. Legal counsel said if they show up there with 3 cop cars, then no, don't. You don't have to let them through your door.
Oh,
So we can phone Health Canada too.
Yeah,
I know.
Anyway, Dwayne, do you want to explain what your
So
role is?
yesterday you were okay with 2 officers coming in the house.
One.
No, I listened to 2, but I see 6,
No,
and
there's
it
four.
was
It's only 4 of us.
4. But
The
I
rest-
see.
the
Sorry,
rest-
I'm looking at 3 cop cars as well. What bothered me is the gentleman I spoke to. I think was it you that was standing there yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, it was
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And I did say, I'm feeling bad because, I don't want to seem like the bad guy here, but at the same time, you guys are showing up in force. My neighbors right now, God knows what they think, and I have nothing to hide. When all's said and done, I'm hoping that, we can all get along, but, this has been, how many times have you guys been to my house and in my basement?
Well, this is the first time on the public.
And what
safety
is your
team.
reason for needing to come in the house for safety, aside from needing to
Just
protect them?
making sure everything is to code.
You're police officers.
No,
Yeah.
no, this is
He's not.
by law enforcement.
Okay, so you're coming in to do that. I'm saying, why do you need
If they're
him?
part of our team, they come for our safety.
We only come in for their safety.
No-
So
Nothing saying
again,
that-
against my request to not have them come in for your safety, you're going to go ahead and tell me that I have to allow these officers into my house without a warrant? Because it amounts to a warrantless search.
I'm not going to tell you anything.
I mean, it amounts to a
No, I'm-
warrantless search. That's what it does.
Yes.
And you're asking me to let officers into the house that are then going to want to do a plant count and everything else
Yeah.
for no reason.
No.
Unless we can agree that there's going to be some sort of, not 6 or 7 of you coming in, but rather that your team.
This is the process. One of us would stay out here with you and
That's
all the
fine.
other occupants. 3 of us would go through the house, make sure there's nobody hiding or any weapons.
Yeah,
any
no.
weapons.
No.
You
And
don't
then-
search for
I'll-
weapons. You
let
guys
me-
can get a warrant if you want to search
Yes,
for
get a
weapons.
warrant.
Let me finish.
No, you
We
won't be
would-
searching my house.
No.
Okay, just let me finish explaining the process. 3 of us go through, we make sure that there's nobody hiding in here. We come out, then the inspection team goes in while we stay outside.
There ain't nobody hiding in here. There ain't
No.
nothing for you to have any probable cause to believe
Yes.
I didn't
Warrant.
say we did.
Well,
We're
then
coming
you're
here
again.
to assist them, and they want us
And
to
I'm
do
saying
it. So-
that my understanding
That's
is
fine.
that there's a legal case that you guys are
That's
not
fine.
allowed in. So I'm saying that
No.
if they would like to come in and if they would like to go down and do their jobs, they're welcome
with
to.
them.
I'll stand at the door with you so you know you're safe and that they're safe because I'm with you.
Well, we don't know that
And we
because
don't
we
have
don't
to
know if there's
worry.
anybody else in
Yeah,
the house.
bring me
That's what
down.
that's why they ask us
Has
to
there
come.
been any threat to you guys? And you guys have been to my house 5 times.
Yeah.
And there's
Never
never
been
been a threat to your officers.
No.
Okay,
So-
Jason,
Calls yours.
what we'll do is we'll just get an entry warrant.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, it could just be so much easier just to let things roll. So we're not here to stop you from what you're doing, just to make sure the electrical and everything's to code.
I just don't understand why all the officers,
This
guys.
is part of our team, Jason. Okay, it's nothing to do with you. This is
Okay,
a
am I going to
We-
get
we
this
go to
every year,
places-
guys? Well, I mean, I don't mind. Once this is done, am I going to get this crap every year?
Yeah.
Probably not, but this is the first time our section's been involved. We
Oh,
may have had
there
police
we go.
issues, but it's never been the public safety team. Okay.
Public safety team.
Yeah.
Warrant.
Okay, so
Different
the,
cities called the electrical safety.
the searching
team.
for my house,
We're not
you're
doing
telling me you're
search,
going to get...
Jason.
No, you just told me you want
Yeah.
to search for people in my home.
Yes.
And that's
Well,
my problem that I have. I don't want you
Jason,
going through my
we're
closets.
gonna leave, okay? We'll just get the entry warrant. We'll do things the proper way. That's the way you prefer.
No, I'm asking you why it is that your team can't just go in, why you need to get a
It's
warrant.
city policy. We don't need to get a warrant. You're not allowing us to follow
Because he
city
wants
policy.
to search that, he wants to search my house. That's what he just said to me.
It's been
Yesterday I
recorded.
told you I'd take 2 officers and walk down there, but he's saying he wants to search every house in my room. It's like, to get downstairs, we walk straight down. What the hell is the side bedrooms or anything
Yeah,
else have
what's
to do
that
with
got
anything?
The police have ways they follow. They do things too. So it's, obviously you can't accept the way we want to do things. We'll just.
Well, we got it all on
entry warrant.
camera, so come on in. Let's go. Bring your guys in. Let's film you guys doing what you're doing. We'll just see what my lawyers have to say after that, and it'll be a lot easier.
Well, we come in, but you guys stay outside.
No.
No, you guys aren't gonna search my
No.
house.
Oh, fucking way.
That's how we do it. If you don't want that, that's fine.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for your time, Jason.
Thank you. I'll show that to my lawyer. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I'm recording.
2, 3, 4. Come on, don't give it that for a second. I don't think that's necessary. And you got the top one up top, yeah. And the second one here and here. Yeah, I'm filming. Okay, so there it is, guys. That is what it is. That is to stand down the police. Of course, I had much darker hair back then and looked a little bit younger anyway. But at the same time, when you're dealing with the police, there's a way to deal with them. It's like dealing with the government. It's like dealing with anything. There is a way to deal with them, and there's a way not to deal with them. And I've never suggested to people to shit. I'm cutting my own head off now. Well, that's fading. That would be fading. Sorry guys, I'm trying to actually fix my hair here, and my my axles are fucking with me on this thing. Alright, there we go, fuck it. Boom. Alright, there it is with the police. I think we might do a 2-hour show today just to close out. It is fucking Friday. I love Fridays, and what better way to do it? Share this around to the groups that you like. To my friends on Facebook, I love you guys. Or not you, Facebook, but YouTube. We're growing daily. I was birthed on YouTube in 2007, and I've been doing it ever since. It's been 11 years of pride and power and teaching and learning, overturning federal policy, suing police, teaching people how to grow, teaching people how to extract, and sharing all the wonderful cannabis events of the world with you. And we plan to continue doing that. I'd like to do it in a much more larger, more broader context. So if you do live in the Lower Mainland, if you're interested in working in broadcast work and working with Cannabis in Canada, not so much in a paying job, because there really is no money until you start showing that you have money to get investors. So the company itself is really like a shell company until we actually start getting real investors and real people behind the show, and quite frankly, get this studio moved out of my living room and into a proper studio where we would be able to have proper hosts or host proper shows and host our guests properly. And yeah, enough about that. But now the police threshold of the doorway, that's the big one. I couldn't talk enough about that. I wanted to make sure we touched on it. Now, there's that type of activism or advocacy. You're protecting yourself, you're protecting your grow up, you're protecting your rights with the city police. Now, the Vancouver City Police decided that they were going to stop Cannabis Day. At least that was their intent. They were going to stop Cannabis Day, and they were going to kill it. Now, why would they do such a crazy thing? Well, Cannabis Day here in BC brings out about 60,000 people. And we take over the downtown core still, like we did with 420 for many years before we moved to the beach. That's exactly what's going on. And they thought by bringing a bunch of police and surrounding the art gallery that was going to stop us. They put a fence around the back, so we took over the front. But in order to get to the front, you had to walk through their line. Now, they weren't up with like barricades. It wasn't a police barricade. It was just intimidation. The more police that were there, the less people were likely to walk in there with pounds of weed for sale. That was probably their theory. And as you'll see in this video, things did get heated. And as we've taught people for many years, you lock arms, you hold together, you do what you can to try to stop the arrest of a given member of a protest. If that member is selling drugs or something, that's a different type of arrest. But if it's just an arrest for protesting, that's different. You lock arms and you try to stop it. And in this case, I believe the police did not need to use mace. They used mace on our people. My daughter was working the coalition booth. Our coalition booth was the first booth along with Budzilla. I'll give Reg credit on that one. We were the first 2 booths. When the city engineers were there and all the police were surrounding us, we just popped our booths up, and I remind them of my constitutional right to assemble on public property. And they tried to argue with me that it wasn't public property, but it's a Vancouver art gallery, motherfuckers. And this is called the city sidewalk. And you can't stop me from protesting where I want to post up and protest, provided I don't block this sidewalk. But when my friends get here, and there's 60,000 of us, y'all are going to need to take your Stingray technology and your facial recognition technology and get the fuck out. Anyway, watch this for yourselves, and you decide. We'll take this into the 2 hours today. We'll go into the second half. You guys tell me what you want to see, what you want to discuss. I got 800 videos and 11 years of Cannabis to talk, so let's do it. Let's make this happen. And at the same time, have a look at this video and think for yourself. This could be any city, any 420, and this is exactly how you should respond. You know, whether Mace has to come out and it has to look ugly, none of us like that. It's a protest. If the police control the protest, well then we're not a free and democratic people exercising our right to free speech, now are we? See you guys in about 7 minutes. This is a good video. It captures the people that were arrested. It captures the police using mace. It points out their Stingray technology and their facial recognition. And you'll see me confronting them very early on about putting their camera and taking pictures of us. They were walking around with their camera trying to intimidate us so that they could get all the people selling drugs. That was their theory of psychological warfare. No, fuck you, coppers. Stop messing with the cannabis culture of Canada. Because we have never had violence at our events until you fuckers decided to come in with your camera and messing with the crowd. See you in 7 minutes. Welcome back to Cannabis in Canada with Jason Wilcox. We're sitting here at the Art Gallery. It's 8:30 in the morning. We got a few people that are standing around that are saying they're not going to go anywhere. And believe me, there's going to be a lot more as the crowd grows. So will the activists continue to make their moves.
Just remember me the right way. Want you to keep in mind today better than yesterday. And for my fellow companions, all I could do was pray. But remember me like your memory. Just like a fragment of a kin, friend, or enemy. So many enemies trying to get into me. I'm just a broken part, feeling detached off. Cause trying to get in this game is like a scratch off.
Opus, otherwise known as McMahon. Brother, we go back a lot of years. You know, West Coast is in the house. What do you think of what the hell's going on with this?
It was interesting. You know, the tent started going up. The city officials came over, and I noticed they had the biggest guy they could find from the city wearing the Viz vest. But we stood up for our rights. They had the cops sort of all hanging around the outside, so there's their backup, obviously, in case, like, what are we thinking? We're gonna jump the city guy?
We're just here assembling on the stairs outside the Vancouver Art Gallery. I'm trying to have a peaceful protest here today. The city knows that, but it looks like they are out in force.
Why aren't you guys on the perimeter? You were on the perimeter before, and now you're right in the crowd with a camera. What's the reasoning for the camera in the crowd? You should be on the perimeter because now you're engaging the activists, you're engaging our cameras. Go back to the perimeter where you belong.
We're just keeping the peace. Peace.
I'm amazed because it's been 15 years we've been doing this and we've never ever seen this sort of provocative stance from the police.
To have that police presence there and to use those intimidation and harassment tactics the way they did is outrageous.
There was non-communication. You know, we didn't even know.
And he said, if you keep selling cannabis, we're going to arrest you.
It was an organized effort. It was almost like it was rehearsed. It was almost like it was funded from not the VPD.
I was scared that they were actually going to get away and deter people from Cannabis Day.
I said, we're going to start selling cannabis. That's our protest. The laws against selling cannabis are why we have cannabis state. So he said that he understood that and that they were going to be realistic.
Back, he's under arrest. These guys got extremely violent, extremely fast.
Shame on the city of Vancouver. Shame on the VPD.
We have no need for all these officers. They're worrying all of these people here. You should send them back somewhere else away from here. We don't need to have this police presence.
Knowing that we were not violent and they continue to push us, and then when passive civil disobedience and passive resistance is implied, why use mace?
We were not violent. It was excessive. They were trying to push me back.
Look, you guys don't need to be here. You're causing problems by being here. You could be inciting a riot.
Don't let listen to me. Anybody at that booth, you don't let anybody give out a dab. You tell them all, don't give out a freaking dab. Don't share any joints with anybody you don't know. Period. It's very important right now because they got us all. They're watching us and they know some of us just left. Welcome back to Cannabis in Canada with Jason Wilcox. I've got Owen Smith here and Ted Smith, and we are on the island. Guys, what do you think about what's going on here in Vancouver?
It is a sad day, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but our soldiers have stood their ground, and hopefully we'll be able to move ahead and have a better Cannabis Day next year.
This prohibition causes more and more pain and suffering as all of its horrible parts are exposed.
Cannabis Day, its roots are in medical, and clearly the MMPR just got ruled unconstitutional. So how dare they try to step in and shut down Cannabis Day?
So sad after 20 years of peaceful events that the city would do this. It's not, the influence of cannabis causing all this harm. It's the law, again, just causing harm in people's lives.
The prohibition that's held up by the federal government is causing all of these problems, and Vancouver City is trying to look good for the government by trying to crack down on these people, but it looks terrible. We have a poor, sick people who are being stepped on in the street.
It's just the saddest day in cannabis activism in this country's history.
Activists will unite because police took a bad stand today in doing what they did in Vancouver, and I think it is a sad day for Canada.
We're going to continue on this together. We got to stick together.
Hey, yo, it's Paradise Blitz, sipping on a fit.
So there it is. Activism at its finest. When we talk about activism in general, people say, oh, they never have to hold the lines. They live in BC. They got it easy. No, we don't got it easy, guys. We internationally, now that they're going to globally legalize YouTube. You're the best voice. We're the best conduit to the community, to the culture. And this is the voice of the underground. We're going to continue to talk, and we're going to continue to push back until they recognize that geomonopolization of free peoples is not only wrong, I'm sure in many countries it's going to be unconstitutional. In Commonwealth countries similar to Canada. All said, I wanted you guys to see that because that's what happened. And again, there's a time and a place to approach the officer. So when I told you guys don't go get in the face of the officer, you wait till you have enough people And they're going to use their facial recognition. That's what he was walking around with. And as you've seen, his buddies had to pat him on his back because his feelings were hurt that he had to actually get back to the perimeter and get the fuck out of our lane. But it wasn't because we sat there, F you, F you. No, we didn't sit there and provoke the police and give them reason to bring their horses and their dogs in to come and friggin' take us all to jail. Why would we give them that option? Instead, we stood our ground on the constitutional right of free assembly and free speech. You have a right to assemble, you have a right to speak out against the government, and you have a right not to have that infringed on. Not by a city, not by a government, not by whether it's provincial, whether it's municipal, or whether it's federal. It's illegal. Shame on the city of Vancouver. They came out with some excuse. Oh, it's because there was 2 marches going on at the same time. And because of those 2 marches, we had to bring in the police. Because some anarchists are having a march. It's like, well, man, okay. What time's their march at? Because we were setting up at 6 a.m. when the police had the place surrounded. Activism starts with action. And over the years, I can pull down video after video after video and show you guys. And it's not about egos. It's not about anything. It's about sharing information, sharing education, empowering one another to make a better nation for Canada. The whole world's watching us saying, you motherfuckers, like we were watching Uruguay when they legalized. They're all watching us saying, you guys just legalized. You guys got it going on. I'll remind you, 16 constitutional challenges, millions of dollars in fighting the federal government, and many, multiple months in court, if not years in court, you know, sorry, more like decades in court, to get us to where we are. Not once, did the political arm, the legislative arm, not once did they just pass policy that made sense. That was like, here, this will actually help you and your medical condition. No, it's more like, look, cancer patient, look, HIV patient, look, MS patient, you guys are retarded and you need to listen to us. And it's like, but Health Canada, you're just a processing center. Don't I talk to my doctor about my medical? That's what this is supposed to be, a one-on-one doctor-patient relationship, like the lawyer-client confidentiality. So if Health Canada is just a processing center, well then it becomes a legislative arm. Once again, who's writing the policies, who's implementing the policies, who's amending the policies, and who's allowing it? And who's not talking about it when it happens? Because it happens a lot. And nobody's talking about it. It's very weird. It really is. It's to a degree almost freaky. But what can I say? It is what it is. There's not much else we can do. But on that note, the biggest thing, and I'd say probably the most important thing, is that they didn't shut down Cannabis Day. Cannabis Day went on that day, and 60,000 people took over the streets of downtown. And because those dumbasses locked off the back of the thing, we took over streets, set up booths. Police had no choice at that point but to do what's in the best interest of the city, and that's keep a riot from happening by getting back, like I said, get back to the perimeter where you belong, because that's what they're there, is to keep the peace. They're not there to provocate or incite a riot. I know that they have their undercovers to do that, so they didn't need to come out in force, try and threaten BC activists like we've gotten weak. Hell, we built this game. We showed people how to protest. And we showed people how to lock arms and go to jail together in the back of the minivan. Oh, shit, these guys, it's a funny story. I'll give you an inside story. On the way to jail, the officers did such a good job. They were so shaken up from this whole experience because the crowd almost turned on them. There was almost a really bad situation for everybody involved, because the police would have needed to defend themselves. And it would have been unarmed civilians, you know, like a mob, attacking a bunch of officers that have provocated a peaceful people. The cannabis culture is not a violent people. We're a peaceful people. Peaceful people should, you know, like when you go to an outdoor rock concert and you got 50,000 people, the police don't go through there with photo recognition trying to scare the shit out of you. They don't got Stingray technology sitting up on the top of the building, capturing everybody. Check out some of this technology. And I'm sure that they had their sound machines, you know, the ones that come in and they blare that sound that make you fucking go away. I'm sure they had all that stuff on standby. What they were waiting for was a breakout. And when that breakout happened, they basically used mace. And I think that the sergeants realized there's way too many people here at this point. This is all getting caught on camera. And we just maced people that are unarmed in the process of a simple arrest. And they outnumbered us at that point. I mean, there was a lot of us, but it doesn't matter. The police still outnumbered us and could have easily taken us down. But they recognized our constitutional right to assemble. Fundamentally, what matters is that they recognized our right to constitutionally assemble. And assemble we did. And I'm proud to say that Cannabis Day moved on, and they haven't come back since. They haven't tried a second time to test what seasoned cannabis activists do here in Canada. Seasoned cannabis activists will get up in the face, will stop it, speak truth to power, but not in an anarchist way, not in a way that's going to make us look bad, not in a way that's confrontational or provocation, because then we end up getting into fights and people get hurt and get maced, you know. But in that case, when the police came in and tried to grab Neil, everybody locked arms. And that's why the police, they couldn't pull everybody apart. They had a big pile of people all hugging onto each other. They couldn't pull them apart. So they decided to break out the mace. Even though there was no threat to their officer, they decided to break out the mace. And that mace goes a long distance outside, guys. And quite frankly, my daughter's booth, my daughter was manning the booth. As you can see, we were both in Vancouver and over in Victoria. We flew on a helijet over to Victoria so we could attend 2 420s on simultaneously and cover the two, the one in Victoria and the one here, the one that Ted Smith used to run so well downtown in downtown Victoria at City Hall. I used to live back there, so but yeah, there it is. There's the activism. I know that I'm getting comments and PMs. You know, people didn't believe that the police still acted like this, and I'm like, the federal government is still acting like this. You know, like I'm telling you now, I get worried about what this country's future really holds for us. You know, we're becoming more of a doctorian state, a police state. You know, slowly it seems. That's a scary thought. I'm not one of those big Alex Jones guys or big, you know, hey, the whole world's coming to an end and everything else. But do I trust these aristocrats? No. The elitists of the world seemingly are trying to make us either have a race war or a world war. I don't know why I switched off topics there, because this is the kind of stuff I look at how far we've come in cannabis, and I'm like, man, this is good. This is what we wanted. This is what we talked about, and now I'm sitting here just thinking to myself, man, I got to get back to what this show is really about. You know, I said I'd do 2 hours today. We're at the 1 hour and 13 minute mark. I'm going to cut off just to I might do my dab on TV. I don't know. Yeah. Congratulations to our winner yesterday. I did receive the email. I'm just confirming the IP address to make sure that we have a legitimate winner. And once that's done, it'll be in the mail to you. And congratulations to yesterday's winner for our giveaway. That was a cool thing. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Albert. Good morning to everybody, both on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube, I love having the audience continue to grow back, because I was birthed on YouTube in 2007. I have 800 videos, half of which are grow videos, and then the other half are these political videos and live shows. And I'm still trying to find just what my niche is. I love advocating for medical. I love talking about it, but I also love teaching how to grow. I love teaching people about cannabis. I love Cannabinese. I would like to write a dictionary on Cannabinese so that we could all talk it. and we could all understand it. When someone's talking about a glandular head or somebody's talking about a phenotype, they understand what we're talking about. If people talk about climate control, they can break into the conversation. And we're getting there, but we need to educate one another, love one another. And right now, because our culture is under attack, it don't matter if you live in the same city and you and say Chuck and Bob, you don't get along with Chuck and Bob because Chuck screwed you over whenever and Bob screwed you over some other time. Right? You're in a small town. You all run small businesses. You're going to get picked off one at a time if you just keep sitting around. My suggestion is you send Bob and you send whoever a letter. Reach out to them and see if you can't forge alliances. Because province by city by city, province by province, right up to the federal government's committee level, you would actually be able to reform a coalition. And a body of the willing is so powerful. A body of the willing is people willing to show up at events, donate, whatever their thing is. They may not have time to sit on a committee or on a board or volunteer, but they'll donate. So it doesn't matter how it is. It's more a matter about showing the government that there's, I believe there's at least 100,000 people now that are pissed off over the legislation and failure of legalization in Canada. Yes, failure of legalization. I never thought I'd say that. I mean, how can you fail legalizing? Well, when you criminalize and marginalize and run out of supply, that's how. Wow. Man, oh man. Drone footage. I play this every day only because 420 is coming up. Those want to know what 420s look like. And when I say 60,000 people show up to our cannabis events, they show up to our cannabis events. Whether it's Cannabis Day, whether it's 420, they show up because we have a good time. We throw down and our culture lives it because we built it. I was here from day one, and I remember when there was 10 or 15 of us at the art gallery and we were still getting arrested. I still had a couple rubber sandwiches and some coffee. You know, for my attempts at early activism, if you have it. Now, we're 80,000 strong, or 100,000 strong. Who knows what this year's 420 is going to be. That's why I don't agree with selling those booths. I agree with proper organization and facilitation. I believe that cost coverage for that facilitation is fair, but I don't believe that the money we're talking by selling every booth when there's like 500 booths or maybe more, you know, at $500 to $1,000 to $2,000, depending on where the booth is. You know, when you're talking about a lot of freaking money, I don't even know how much these booths go for. I've heard that they can go right up $5,000. You know, because what that brand is going to make in a day is huge. So it's one of those things where proper organization for the safety of the event is one thing, and I believe people, the facilitators, should be compensated for the stage, for the fencing, and whatever else is involved. But there should be no profiting off a protest. When you start profiting off a protest, it's no longer a protest. It's just making money in the most optimal way possible and calling it a protest. And if we're going to protest the laws, how about we put some speakers on the stage that are actually protesting the laws rather than trying to get you to abide by the new laws? How about that for the 420 promoters? I'm just saying. I've been on the stage before. I thank them. I mean, I love 420 and I love the stage, but I believe that the narrative, if we allow the narrative to get changed, then we're failing Canada once again. We're failing this protest. We're failing what we do. And we shouldn't do that. Nor should America, nor should the rest of the globe. I mean, honestly, there should be no... allowing these corporations to take over is just like that movie. I can't remember the name of it. Shit, if anybody knows the name, pop it up in the chat, please. Where the corporations take over the world. And big business takes over the governments. Some scary shit, but Donald Trump's doing some scary shit in America right now and has pissed off some people and made some friggin' ugly friends. So, you know, like, this is some stuff that I think that anybody that cares about their family and cares about friggin' geopolitics, they're gonna be concerned about this kind of stuff. You know, me, I don't want to see I mean, shit, I just finished raising my daughter and sending her out to the world. I don't want to see things go the other direction, you know. And if we're going to go that direction, I certainly don't want to go following Donald Trump. You know, I really don't. I'm sorry to the Donald Trump supporters, but I don't necessarily support his approach. You don't make friends with dictators and try and force them in a mobster-like way to friggin' do stuff. It just doesn't work that way. But I'm not going to turn today's show into a political show. Back to the 420. This is just before we had to move to the beach. I played this the other day. Thank you to Young Nolo for letting us use the soundtrack that he put together. And yeah, it'll give me a chance to have a dab. Share this around. Let people know we're going. The show is going to continue to go down. This is the Friday closing show of Cannabis Canada, the voice of the underground. It is 1:20 in 1 hour and 20 minutes in. And we're just gonna take it from there. So let me just play a couple more things here and have a dab. And I might play a couple. Let's just see what I'll just spin it like a DJ. Have to see how it goes. Enjoy each other in the chat. Remember, there's a lot of people in both chats, so it's the opportunity to be able to engage with certain questions. Security straight down. Drunken Dunkhead. You know, I go by my real name, Jason Wilcox, so I don't know who you are, but you obviously work on a different side or have a different view. But as I've said, you may think the shortage isn't real, but I can tell you that it is, because they're selling it to other countries. You know why? Because some of my friends are actually the vice presidents of some of these companies and sit on the board of directors of some of these companies. So, quite frankly, say what you want, but there's no shortage as far as the underground goes. This is, again, manipulation and provocation of the people. And thank God for social media, because it allows us to bring the voice back and say, you know what? This is the real. That's why I come with my real name, real truth, real facts, real company. Yeah, the real. Let's talk the real, because they wouldn't just hold back on their sales. They got 20-year ROIs, some of them, but there's other LPs. There's 100 of them here. There's other ones that are struggling. Then there's consulting groups, there's people trying to become microbreweries, there's all kinds of stuff going on here. But one thing that we do know is that the only reason that licensed producers, certain ones that are allowed to export, the only reason they're running out of supply is because Bolivia is willing to buy their cheap shit. Australia is willing to pay $600 for 25 milligram CBD caps and THC caps. That's why. So it's not that I'm not listening. If you think I can monitor friggin' 2 chats and do an entire show all at the same time, it's not easy. So I do listen. I try to read what's going on in the chat. It's not that there's zero supply in other nations. I can assure you of that. When I went to Australia, my friends looked after me quite well, both in Melbourne and in Sydney. I had no problem. I met the cannabis groups there. They may not be as big and as powerful as the Canadian groups or the American groups, but that's because they live under a more doctorian legal system, quite frankly. They're putting Jenny Hallam in jail. Look up Jenny Hallam. She's on my website. I did a blog on her story. But it's hard to believe that this is their version of Rick Simpson, and they're going to throw this woman in jail because she gave oil to stop babies from seizuring. Rick Simpson did it for cancer. She did it for babies to stop seizuring. They both gave it away for free. So why did the government want to chase them away and shut them up? Why do they want to lock them up? It's because they don't want this information to get to you and me. It is dab time. So here's the drone footage. 2000, I believe, 13. God damn, I got to get to the gym today. I'm just noticing just how fat I'm getting, but I'm working hard and diligently on diet and gym and positivity, and it is what it is. I actually give, whatever your drunken knucklehead name is, I give a fuck about Australia. I give a fuck about the country and the culture and the world. First and foremost, I give a crap about my people. But my people are humans. It don't matter what creed, color, nation, I don't care. If you smoke cannabis, we got a common denominator. If I can help your country in any capacity, I would. Unfortunately, activists from other countries, it ain't that good. We even considered making, like, trust me, I talked with other national activists, we even considered making a national board that could start to try to push back against these guys. But they're years ahead of us. This shit's been being planned for a long time. I've been doing this since 2012, just pushing back against these guys and studying them and learning their maneuvers. Move there and leave Canada alone. Drunken knucklehead, I'm pretty willing to bet you'll probably be banned from the next show. You know, it's unfortunate that you feel the need to try and degrade a show or distract a show, but you have a name, I guess, with a name like that. You know, drunken knucklehead. Go get drunk and be a knucklehead, because that's how you're acting right now. On that note, here's 420 2015, where everybody's out having a good time, having a blast, and putting smoke up in the air. First time ever a drone was flown up and over a 420 crowd. This was before they actually passed the laws. Now there's laws that say you can't fly over people. So anyway, here's footage.
We be smoking weed, no stems and no seeds. We about to smoke and I'll be lighting up that weed. We be smoking weed, no stems and no seeds. We about to smoke and I'll be lighting up that weed. Smoke weed like Bob Marley, getting high and I like to party. Mary Jane stimulates the brain, she blow the smoke, take away the pain. My dream house in my greenhouse with a flat screen and a big couch, half baked with a big bomb. Smoke it all till the weed's gone. Smell good, my weed strong, my money stack and my weed's long. Smoking Keisha, Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg when I'm around the reef. It's beautiful when I roll up, it's like fine art when I burn it up. Smoking loud, we gon' turn it up. Smoking loud, we gon' turn it up. We be smoking weed, no stems and no seeds. We about to smoke and I'll be lighting up that weed. We be smoking weed, no stems and no seeds. We about to smoke and I'll be lighting up that weed. Put your lighters up, let's spark one. Get high, let's blaze up. It was a long day, we lighting weed, we smoking, we don't give a fuck. Roll up, no stress, smoke weed, no protest. 420, we live, I roll it up in my weed ride. Put your lighters up, let's spark one. Getting high, let's blaze up. It was a long day, we lighting weed, we smoking, we don't give a fuck. Roll up, no stress, smoke weed, no protest. 420, we live, I roll it up in my weed ride. Grinding all this weed, we gon' have to break this up. Mary Jane's my main bitch, won't you come get fucked up? Oh, you don't smoke no weed, well I can't say what's up. In memory, yo whack ass, when I light this up. Rolling it up when I'm blowing the weed, smelling the smoke and you know that it's me. Puffing on good and you know who it be. Smoke like a hippie, come fuck with a G. Light it up when I blaze one, light it up when I blaze one. We gon' smoke piff when that haze come. Smoke piff when that haze come. We be smoking weed, no stems and no seeds. We about to smoke and I'll be lighting up that weed. We be smoking weed, no stems and no seeds. We about to smoke and I'll be lighting up that weed. Put your lighters up, let's spark one. Getting high, let's blaze up. It was a long day, we lighting weed, we smoking, we don't give a fuck. Roll up, no stress, smoke weed, no protest. 420, we live, I roll it up in my weed ride. Put your lighters up, let's spark one. Getting high, let's blaze up. stems and no seeds. We about to smoke and I'll be lighting up that weed. We be smoking weed, no stems and no seeds. We about to smoke and I'll be lighting up that weed.
This is LIFT 2019. I believe this is the 5th LIFT conference to go, and we have been here every year holding it down as always. We're going to cover all the different booths, show you what legalization in Canada looks like now, and let's see what it's going to look like in the future. There is a lot of stuff here that has to do with everything from using cannabis, growing cannabis, making extracts, using extracts, you name it, it's here, and we're going to cover it all. We look forward to bringing it to you here on Cannabis in Canada. We'll see you in the next segue.
Howdy, we're here at Lift & Co. Here at the Cannabis Expo here in Vancouver. A big shout out to Cannabis Canada. Big vendor, a lot bigger than it was last year. So come by, enjoy, and say hi to me. I'll be here at the info booth, right at the entrance.
We're at the LIFT Conference 2019 at the Green Planet booth, and I just wanted to make a big shout out to Cannabis Canada, Jason Wilcock and Vicky Dabbs. You guys are one of the pioneers in the YouTube cannabis frontier, and we owe a debt of gratitude for you in regards to the coalition against repeal for every medical cultivator in Canada. Thank you so much, Jason Wilcox, and it's been a great journey, and can't wait to see more and really see the future of cannabis in Canada now that we have legalization. Keep it up, guys. Thanks so much.
With Method 7, and we make performance optics that color balance the light. So we notch filter out the light. It takes the extreme reds and yellows that you might get in HPS light, and as the light passes through, we notch filter out the reds and yellows and bring the blues and greens to life, so what your eye sees under normal white light conditions. We do HPS, we do red and magenta LEDs. We have a lens for full spectrum or white LEDs. Our newest pair called the Agent 939s. It's the most advanced polycarbonate lens in the world in that it filters out infrared heat as well as blocks UV. No other lens in the world can do that right now. We spent 2 years with Carl Zeiss Optics to achieve that. And we do Zeiss Optics for all of our lenses and Italian frames.
My name's Brad. I'm here with West Coast Gifts. We have a wide variety of glass lines as far as red eye glass, Gear Premium, Cheech and Chong. Lots of fun different colors to set us aside from the competition. Our red eye tech line here, lots of fun percolation, different colors and designs. We're always trying to step up our game with new flashy colors. Our Gear Premium line's really nice for someone looking for that really high functioning technical piece. We have lots of really nice recyclers or fab eggs. Lots of fun designs with skulls or lips. A lot of people have been really loving our silicone line. With the silicone pieces, it's great because it's the last piece you're ever going to buy. It's not going to break down on you. You throw it in the freezer, freeze up that resin and squeeze that right off. And we got that beautiful head honcho piece available in a couple of different colors, including glow in the dark for when you're looking for that late night toke. Our Cheech and Chong line has been really, really popular. We got our boys Cheech and Chong here. Lots of different pipes and bongs from them. My favorite is their the Labrador pipe. I'm sure we all remember that moment in the movie. Vaporizers are a really nice thing we carry here. Lots of different options as far as my favorite personally, the Arizer Argo. Great for sticking in your pocket, about the size of a BlackBerry, small little glass tube inside, really easy to use. Or our newest vape, the Rocket, which comes, you can buy some wax liquidizer and essentially get your own product inside of a small little vape. Very easy, friendly to go. Take it to the concerts, wherever you want to be. West Coast Gifts is your one-stop shop for anything head shops. Thanks, guys.
Well, here we are at LIFT 2019, and wow, can I say it's been amazing? Cannabis is legal in Canada, and in 2019, we had our first licensed dispensaries here in Vancouver just open. LIFT came a week later. 2 days ago, they opened up another dispensary on Robson Street, and here we are today, really seeing how the industry is starting to change and what we're looking forward to see for 2019. I'm here with some beautiful ladies that are working with us, and how's the event been for you ladies? Let me tell me more. Come on.
Oh, the event's been amazing. We have the last couple days between the industry night yesterday and now having the public in. It's been great to see the different questions, to see all the lovely faces, new and the faces that we've already met before. So, I mean, it's great. This is a great time. What do you think?
What is listening? We're having a great time. Well, you know what? What we're here doing today was doing a lot of education. Education on standardization, quality control. We talked with a lot of licensed producers here about the active water content in their cannabis, and you know what? We're just having fun. Yeah.
Okay, here representing Delta 9 Pack. We are a cannabis-specific packaging company, print, and also storage containers. So we offer a variety of exit packaging storage containers for the industry. We have our pop-top containers, which are all 100% customizable. We do the labeling for them as well. Our pre-roll containers, custom colors available. We have our flower packaging or edible packaging in bags. They're all food grade safe, and also pass the ATSM certification. Push and turn, and our newest line, which is our recycled plastic. So our goal as a company is to move towards using products that are 100% recyclable. We're looking into the ocean plastics, we're looking into the hemp. We're trying to move away from the wasteful materials in regards to the packaging throughout the cannabis industry. So our goal as a company is to continue to move forward to get the certification on the recyclable materials. And we are based out of Ontario. You can check out our website at www.delta9pack.com. We do shipping overnight, 1 to 2 business days throughout Canada. So, thank you.
Perfect. Hi, I'm Gibson from Gibson's Glassworks. I'm here at the LIFT Expo. This is a piece that I made and designed on a pizza box at the Great Canadian Glass Gathering. Has over 20 people involved in making it, and it's a one-of-a-kind piece. All the pieces on this table are all one-of-a-kind original pieces. This is my production end, and I've been at the LIFT Expo here. This is day 2, and if you're looking to get some glass, make sure to get it from a Canadian glass blower. Thank you.
Say hi from Bovada to everyone here at LIFT enjoying cannabis in Canada. We're super excited to be here, meeting all the growers, all the consumers, retailers, everyone in the industry, having a great time. Want to take it away, Scotty?
We love Vancouver, love the show, love cannabis in Canada. We're having a good time, just hanging out and throwing out packs to everyone. Cheers.
Alright, welcome back. Get my jacket. Getting cold. I don't know why. I'm chilled. I guess sitting here 2 hours will do that to a person. The show will be knocked down to 1 hour, just so people know. We're just trying to decide, and I think it's going to come down to what the investors really want to do. If we decide to go with a morning show, that's literally, going every morning like this, people can just tune in. We do go to iHeartRadio, so we do have the ability to just go to radio if people want to listen. But definitely colder. Definitely. Oh shit! What was I just covering even? Oh, my head's just shot. Yes, that was a dick bong. I know, I seen that. My daughter did the filming for me for Lyft this year, and that made a big difference. So right now we have exactly 20 minutes left in the show. So please share this around. I'm gonna make a couple CBD caps, so I figured I'd do them on the air, so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm doing. So yeah, because right now I'm in a lot of pain actually. I don't know how many of y'all out there, I refuse to take opiates, right? So codeine's an opiate to a degree, I guess. So I shouldn't say I refuse to take opiates. The most I'll take is acetaminophen with codeine. And I ended up finding myself taking those, and then I realized, holy shit, I've been taking these things for like almost a year straight. That's when I realized there must be a rebound headache or rebound pain or some sort of addiction going on here, and I got to address it. And though my 25 years of just HIV and taking antiretrovirals for 25 years, from the day I was diagnosed to I was told I had 6 months to live, till now, I've taken toxic meds that are second only to chemotherapy for what you can legally give to a human being. So with that being said, these are the things that that I've been looking at. I'm not sure why you wouldn't be getting notifications about shows. You would have to click I believe there's a bell on YouTube you can click on that will notify you. I'm not sure how it is on Facebook. Unfortunately, on Facebook, what's going on is for whatever reason, they have rerouted. For the cannabis channels, they haven't been able to knock out. I mean, I was sponsored by Facebook. I was actually a big supporter of Facebook. Why they're going after cannabis. I mean, if the Facebook purge was to get rid of dead accounts, drug dealers, or whatever, then so be the purge. But if the purge was more politically motivated to silence certain groups from talking about stuff like we talk about here on Cannabis in Canada, because it actually affects change. It's not just a bunch of people talking shit. It's actually it's talking shit that leads to action. And that action often overturns federal policy and changes laws and changes lives, or improves the quality of life of said user, being the end user of cannabis. So these are all things that we have to look at. We have to always remember, and we're always going to have people out there that just, again, like the reason I took a bit of a breather there was more to have a couple dabs, which I still didn't get to do. I actually had to field a phone call, and it's just one of those things. And then I also had to, Mr. Knucklehead, I had to just remove him from. There's a feature that we have on, once you're with YouTube long enough and you do enough shows, there's a feature I can just click a button and you're gone, and so is all your comments from my show. And the reason I do that, it's not about being a tyrant. When you debate somebody, it's called intellectual debate for a reason. Otherwise, it's a fight. And what was going on there was no intellectual debate. It was provocation. Looking for a fight. And we just removed that negativity from our show now. So anybody bringing that stuff to the show might not want to do so, because you're just going to get thrown off. But trolls love that. Sometimes trolls get off on that shit. They go around, they'll try and bug you, and it pisses them off, because then they got to go create a whole new user profile just to come back and yell at you some more. So you just click a button and then they're gone again, and it's like poof, there goes the thing. Now those that want to have an intelligible discussion or debate, if you have it, then let's have one. But there's intelligible debates, and then there's just simply, like I said, provocation and disrespect in just the post and in the language being used, and it's not going to. Again, I've always said, like our Cannabis in Canada group, check it out. Cannabis in Canada, it's a private group, but please check it out and join it. Talk to one of our administrators. If you're a member of Cannabis in Canada, please share it out, because people can't find our group. And Facebook just purged 3,000 people. So maybe they were bad people, maybe they're bad accounts. I don't know what happened, but we lost 3,000 people. We're down to 10,000. So we're on a membership drive right now. So if you're interested in coming and joining Cannabis Canada, come on down and join us, where you can be protected, your voice can be heard, and nobody is ever going to talk you down, because our administrators will jump on them and remove them accordingly based on our we have guiding principles for the group, and we also have an administration protocol. So no one administrator can take powers into their own hand, and no one person can take protocol into their own hand. It's pre-written, and it's standard SOP, standard operating procedure for any group. So I would encourage anybody that wants to get their voice heard, wants to get some answers, wants to engage with myself. I'm going to be in the group more often now. I wasn't before. So I will be in there. I was just really busy. I know there's no excuse, but no one person makes a group. All I know is I'd like to help to rebuild it. And if you're interested in working with Cannabis in Canada, whether that be a moderator, an administrator, a blogger, a videographer, if you're interested in any of that sort of work, please get in touch with me via cannabisincanada@gmail.com, and if you live in the Lower Mainland here, of course. But some of the stuff, if you're a video editor, for instance, you could live anywhere in the world and work with us, because we can just upload to Dropbox or whatever and share files that way. That's an important thing, because as we build out our team, we got 15 minutes left in the show, guys. 15 minutes. Anyway, as we continue to build out our team, I was just talking with my webmaster before we started the show, and I'm going to follow up with him after the show. You guys, again, check out Epic Waves. I should have the website here right in front of me, but I don't. Epic Wave. Shit, I wish I knew it off the top of my head. Anyway, I will get it. But you want somebody that can market your brand or build out your brand. It's not just about a website. It's about knowing how to market and knowing how the internet works, how algorithms work. Stuff that I'm still being taught. I learn from him just as much as he learns from me. He learns from me about cannabis. I learn from him about friggin' marketing and how the internet works. And when you put a team together, see, now we're looking for writers. Now we're looking for editors. We're looking for the people that are going to put the last part of the team together, so that I can put a proposal in front of an investor that will actually drop 50 or 100K on a company to help us build out properly. You're never gonna compete with the masses like Be Real TV and other people like that. And I believe in shooting for the stars. So people might think I'm joking, but they thought I was joking when I said I was going to restrain the government and put them on trial and save home growing in the country of Canada, and I did it, along with my friends, 15,000 of them. So, and remember to also, please, if you're going to be part of our weekly giveaways, like yesterday's winner, congratulations. Your prize will be sent off in the mail today. And yeah, I'm not sure if you put your phone number in the email. If you did, I'll send you a text message with your tracking number, so that you know how to follow it, basically. And again, anybody who participates in our competitions for giveaways, provided that our giveaways do not have CBD in them, we can send them anywhere in the world. I should be careful saying that, because shipping a ballast or shipping a light can be very expensive. Speaking of lights, I have a kind LED 1,000-watt light, been used only once by myself for testing, that I'm looking to get rid of. So those that are interested, please contact me at cannabisincanada@gmail.com. I like the King light myself when it comes to the two LEDs, but they both perform, and they're both $2,000 for a reason. So getting it secondhand and considerably cheaper, and it's only been used once, is kind of a good deal. So again, and as well as clones and babies, seeds, the stuff that we need to start getting out there. I think CNC needs to open a store where we can get this stuff to you guys, because it's certainly not me fearing the law. I think the law should be fearing us. I think every officer that sees us with a camera and realizes they have to now follow the law, they're part of it too. Remember, most of these police officers now sit on the board of directors of these companies. So every time they mess with a marijuana person, they're actually hurting their own businesses. So they're all friends of friends, and they're all part of a big police association, remember? It's an important part. But it is what it is. What are we at? 150, 5 minutes to go. There's a Terp Sauce demo. I'm not sure what to play. Actually, you know what? Classic. All right. Hey, Knucklehead, if you're still watching, here's a past to present stuff of what real activists do. And no, we don't need to debate about what's going on in the country of Canada. What we need to do is have intelligible discussions and intelligible, well, I guess we could debate, but intelligible debates, respectful debates. Trolls, provocators, and haters, just move on down the lane, because that's what the delete button's for. And to everybody else, thank you for putting up with that, and I apologize for the distraction in the chat. But this will give me 6 minutes before I close out the show. Post up any questions if you want to post them up. I got to get this CBD cap made. I can't do all this shit at one time. That's my problem right now. And no, they're not debates about a solution. You don't debate. Well, debates are about a solution, but debates either way need to be intelligible. If people seen me go up against Pam McCall and I beat her, I turned her into a feminist, and turned her into an activist herself that burnt her bras. And you know, when she tries to say that our protests are somehow wrong, but burning her bra was right, civil disobedience is civil disobedience. So there was a way to approach Pamela. There's a way to approach anything. And if it's a debate, whether there should be a protest, whether there shouldn't, whether there is supply, whether there isn't, do we really think these 100 corporations are actually controlling our country? I'd say that was an LP infiltrator that's paid to go online and paid to come on shows like this, and actually paid to try and get you guys convinced of different things. There's a lot of stuff going on, and people don't necessarily see it. You know, because they want to believe that this country is just hunky-dory with our legalization, and we're not. We're actually far from it. And that's an unfortunate thing. Shit, what am I at? At 152. I'm just going to ride out this 8 minutes as I put together this capsule here. I'm going to put together a few capsules, and I also... But, oh shit, no, I didn't get out my CBD. See, this is what I mean about trying to do stuff while on the air. It doesn't quite work. Either way, Bruce, at this point, you're starting to frustrate me. Again, whatever his point was, or whatever his point wanted to be, there's a way to talk to people, and there's a way not to talk to people in an intelligible debate. And, you know, calling people dictators and everything else, that's the anarchist people that you hang out with, Bruce, and have fun hanging out with your friends. But you know what? They want to debate somebody that's actually intelligent. They should probably come at them with an intelligible argument and not just a bunch of conjecture and provocation in their language. Because when you approach people that way, it shuts the discussion off. It shuts the openness of the discussion off. And it turns it to provocation, and provocation often leads to problems and disruptions of the show, which would be why they would do it. So you know, I allowed him to disrupt my show today, you know, for the 5 minutes of fame he got, but now he's banned from the show. So I suggest you stop talking about it now before I have to ban you, Bruce. I like you, but I at the same time, I can't have people interrupting the show with conjecture and speculation and trying to tell me what a debate is or isn't. If you want to come on and debate me, come on and debate me. But don't stick up for somebody that I just threw off my show. I threw them off my show because they were talking about being tyrants and can't answer things, and quite frankly being rude and insubordinate. Now I see my show like my house. If you come in my house and you disrespect it, well then I toss your ass out if your head doesn't hit a few walls on the way out. So if you come on my show and you disrespect it, I just boot you off my show instead of sit there and waste time like I am today on it, on even the topic. So just keep that in mind, Bruce. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Dougie Fresh, your own. Anyway, like, I honestly, I love you, Bruce. You know I do. I care a lot about you. It's just some of your friends they take the anarchist approach, and that's okay. You know, I've read the anarchist cookbook. I'm not exactly an angel child myself. I just have a different approach of doing things. But like I said, it's like the Cannabis in Canada group. We might have 10,000 people in there. We let you in that group. You only have to fart sideways once. Tell somebody they're an effing idiot, and you're going to get booted and banned. We have very little tolerance, or you're going to be warned by an administrator. Your post will be deleted and you'll be warned. And there's a reason for that. It's for the safety and integrity of the group, and that no patient that uses cannabis, that wants to simply get information, or anybody in this country that wants information on cannabis, should be able to come in, post up whatever they think, or whatever they're trying to figure out, and not face scrutiny, or be called names like tyrants. That's why we have the block and ignore buttons. And thank you to all my administrators. As always, the administrators in the group are freaking awesome. They really are, and we're just starting to build the team out a little bigger. We've added a couple more people, and we're going to keep doing that. And that'll be the end of it. 4 minutes. Damn, longest 6 minutes of my life. 4 minutes left, and we'll end this on 2 minutes. Nope, I don't look to control anybody. I control my show. So again, Bruce, just drop it. That's the last time I'm going to say it. And I think that any of the people out there running your own groups, I think you guys should also look at this as an example of how to keep your group safe and to move ahead. And you can also see how it can be comical. It's because I know Bruce, you know, and I know his little radical group of friends that hang out downtown and do what they do. So be it. You're also the ones that got arrested last year and made us look bad at the art gallery because you wanted to splinter off of the other 80,000 people. So we have to remember who we are and what we're talking about. The cannabis culture has to unite, and you don't unite when you come in a negative front. You need to, I mean, right now our country's in devastation, quite frankly. We're past the point of devastation when it comes to who is going to control what. We're always going to have the talkers and the squawkers. I talked about that in the beginning of the show, and the trolls that love to run along the internet and just I guess that's what gets them off, you know. It's like the guy that needs to go jerk off behind a car, whatever, fucking to each their own. That's why I said I just toss them out. I look at my show and my group like my house. If you come in my house and you disrespect it, I'm going to throw you out. If you go in a restaurant and you're not wearing shoes and no shirt, you think they're going to serve you food? They're going to tell you to leave. So it's the same thing. So just look at it from that perspective, and it's a lot easier. And it is funny, because it's funny to the context that a lot of people don't do this. I feel sorry for some of the guys that run their shows, and then they got all these horrible comments and these spam artists, these little troll fuckers that sit there and just blah, 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 and they just talk. And it's like, okay, do a show. Set up your phone and educate us so that you can stand by. See, I'm standing by 11 years and 800 shows. I'm standing by suing the police, putting the government on trial and beating them, restraining the federal government under injunction, and suing them for breach of privacy. So again, if we want to get into debates and talk about what's going on, you know, we can talk about what this country's doing, because it stopped once we sued them for privacy because the coalition fell apart. Thanks to people like our trolls, who I think are LP plants. And they're putting here solely for the purpose to disrupt, as they did today at the tail end of the show. I'm looking at the numbers, so it's not really bothering me. So I know the few people that are staying on, they're doing it for a reason. I know it's looking, that's from one day. Vicky just cleaned this for me last night. And this is just a little tiny fucker. I don't see any other bangers out here. But Yeah, no, that was from earlier this morning. Just setting up a show can be challenging, and it's why, again, the trolls and the replicators, you know, they can't be originators. They can't come up with their own stuff or get on the air and do it themselves. They got to go and try and jump on somebody else's shit and try and talk shit because they're just that weak. And I feel sorry for those people. That's why at the end of every show I say, don't punch down, punch up. I shoot for the stars. I punch up at the government. I'm not going to punch down at a bunch of retards that don't know what they're talking about. I'm sure as fuck not going to let them walk up in my house and start talking shit. It's easier just to hit the delete and block button. You know? That's the real. It's just the way it is. 2 hours. Alright guys, another 2-hour show, 5 days straight. It's been a hell of a thing. I'm just going to let this run off for about 6 minutes here, and it's going to be the coalition past the present, and then the show will shut off on its own. So I'm wishing everybody a good day, and Bruce, if you know the guy that was on the chat, well then good. Maybe he'll learn how to friggin' how to better his skills in the future if he wants to come and try to get on a show or talk with people or debate, as he would say, tyrants. I love being a tyrant. Yeah, tyrants. Cannabis tyrants. You know, a tyrant isn't somebody that removes a problem. That's somebody that is a problem solver. You get rid of the problem. That said, this is Jason Wilcox signing out, and we'll see you on Monday morning show.